mixing the buttercream. I'm doing the first batch. We're definitely gonna need another one, but I'm just doing the first lot. So the butter's all mixed. I just need to add the icing sugar. I'm gonna run and get my iPad so that I can look at all the comments, but I will be right back. Right, got my iPad, so I'm just going to bring up the chat. I'm just going to double check our battery. So we're low on battery as well, so this is not a good start. It's because I didn't have any butter, and then I realised I didn't have any icing sugar either. So then I had to go to Tesco's, and the first place I went to didn't have any icing sugar. So then I had to go somewhere else. So now it's throwing me off and I'm behind on everything. So, but I didn't want to keep you guys waiting, so I thought I'd just start the live. Right, I need to go and get a charger now, so I will be right back. Hi Natalie, hi Joshua, hi Julia. Excited to see the birthday cake. I'm very excited as well. I actually got a bit dressed up for the live because I thought, why not? So yeah, I need to go get a charger and then I will be ready to actually start this live. I'm really out of breath. Right, BRB. Right, I've got a charger, so we're all good now. Plug that into my phone. So, hey me, love your top, thank you. I've got the same but in a dress, but obviously I wasn't going to wear the dress for the live, but I might wear the dress tomorrow, I don't know. So, I'm going to mix this buttercream. I've got everything I need behind me. So, I'm going to quickly mix this and then we'll be starting to decorate. How is everyone? I'm just adding the icing sugar. It's taking a little while. I bought silver spoon instead of Tate and Lyle, so there's just icing clouds everywhere. So we're nearly done. Nearly mixed. I need the cover because this is going everywhere. My cover out. Oh my god, this is going everywhere. It's annoying me. Look, icing sugar everywhere. It's because I'm rushing. Right, we're going to go with that. Now that I'm all covered. Right, that's all mixed. I will read that in a minute. Right. I tried making caramel for the first time and I burnt the top of my thumb. Couldn't finish my cakes tonight. I know it was hot because people warned me, but man, it hurt. Lessons OG baking. That's why I haven't made caramel yet, because I dread to even try, because I will burn myself. I burn myself when I'm getting cakes out of the oven. I've got like burns all on my wrists, burnt myself here. I do this thing where I'll check that the cakes are done by putting a skewer in, and then when I put the skewer in, I don't have gloves on, and then I go, oh, it's done, and then I just go to get them out, and I've done it so many times where I literally just touch the tin and burn my fingertips. So yeah, you're talking to like the most clumsy person and like just irresponsible. I don't know how I've actually made it this far. But yeah, so I do a lot of stupid things, but luckily we are still here. Right, our buttercream is mixed. I'm just trying to move some of this icing sugar that I've managed to literally pour over the whole counter. It's a mess, like I'm embarrassed to show you, so we're not gonna. So I've already got a little bit of buttercream, so I'm gonna mix it with that because I use that to crumb coat. So I'm just gonna mix it in so it's all mixed together. What do I want to do with you? So I need a pot. Right. There's a few with a little crumbs in because it was obviously for the crumb coat, so I'm gonna remove that and then keep the extra in there that doesn't have any crumbs in. So we're going to mix this and this big bowl together. Right. So if you haven't read the title, it's a 2-tier cake. And one tier is chocolate orange and the other tier is Victoria sponge. So for those of you that don't know, I am one of 7. So I obviously want to make sure that people like at least one of the flavours. So I put it on a family chat that we have. My dog's barking, so please ignore that. So I put it on a family chat and I basically did various options and I was like, right, can people choose what they like? And then I'll like pick which ones I think are gonna kind of like please everyone. So if someone said that they like chocolate, then I made sure that there was like a chocolate option, or if someone said they like Victoria sponge or like white chocolate and raspberry, those are very similar in terms of like they have a jam filling and it's like a vanilla sponge. So I kind of like made sure that people had at least one option. So I've gone for Victoria sponge because it's one that everyone will like if they don't like the chocolate orange, and I love the chocolate orange, so I was kind of like, well, I'm gonna make the chocolate orange and then hopefully people like at least one of them. So yeah, we have 2 options. So we have a giant bowl of icing here. Right, we're gonna add the spare that I made earlier. Cleo! She's barking. We live right next to a park, so they're always barking. So mix this. And if anyone's wondering, the doors are all open because it's my birthday cake, so I don't mind if the dogs come through. But obviously I normally have all the doors closed, so you might see or hear the dogs a bit more today because they're very small dogs, so they can't get on the counter anyway, but usually I lock them out just because. But yeah, so you might see the odd dog coming through. Hi Amy, I think you messaged me, but I was so rushed off my feet that I did read it, Lauren, but I haven't replied because I was like running to Tesco's and then I had to go to another Tesco's because they didn't have what I wanted. So yeah, I was like, I'm really sorry, but I'm really rushed off my feet, so I couldn't reply. So I'm trying to work out what I need in terms of colouring. So we're doing a multicoloured cake. I'm winging it, so as usual. So we've got loads of stuff behind me. You're on charge, so I'm gonna leave you there, but I have lots of colouring because I saw this cake it was a scalloped edge, so that's what we're doing for the base, but it was like multicoloured with splotches. So I think we're gonna go for pastel, pink, orange and yellow with bits of white. But then I also have some other colours if I need to tone down the colours, so like if they're too bright, then I can tone them down with these colours. So it's salted caramel, pale pink and coral. If I need to tone the shades down. So we need 3 shades, and then the top tier is going to be a drip cake, which I think is going to be plain white base, which I actually might do first because it will probably be easier because then I'm not colouring anything. So I'll probably do that first, and then it's going to have smudges of colour on it because again I saw a cake which looked really cool, so that's what we're going for. But I just realised I'm going to have to do the what do you call it, smudges on a very set cake, so we're going to do that first. So we'll be doing the 4-inch first, and then we'll move on to the 8-inch. So for toppings, I've got dried flowers, and then I've also got some peonies, which are artificial. Then we've got some number moulds and also cake pop moulds because I'm going to be making some cake pops and bits to go on there. We have lint, it's lint gold. And then we've got Milky Bar because I'm trying to keep it very simple with toppings and like matching the colour scheme. In your Victoria sponge, do you add any hot water? No, I don't. It does have a little bit of milk in it, but I don't always need that. It just depends how big your eggs are in terms of like how watery it is. You can use a tiny bit of brown to tone the colours down. It helps with the saturation. That's a very good tip, thank you. I might have to try that. Hi Jasmine, hi to anyone new joining. So these are the dried flowers. Cover up my address before I show everyone. So the person that I bought them from is, I think it's Mamie Peaches, I think is how you pronounce it. So we've got some very, very cute flowers. We have this one which is a spare, but it molts, so I can't use it on a cake. So we have this, and these can all be cut into much smaller pieces. I did it on a recent cake on the live. We cut one like this into much smaller pieces, so we can do if we need to. So we got those 2. Then we have lots of these little fluffy things, which I absolutely love. And this person's on Etsy, by the way. So we've got those. We have a big fluffy bit. We have another mini fluffy one. Then we have some which are kind of like corn or like wheat. A little rose. And then we have the star of the show, which is this ombre spear, which I love so much. So yeah, definitely. And she was really good with like postage. It was really reasonable, and also she was just a really good seller. There was another one that I used recently for that other cake, but I feel like this is a much better set. As much as I do like the other one, it was more of like a cheaper option. This was £12.50, but it has really good bits and they're all paired nicely together, so they'll work. Have I scratched that? I think I may have. So this is the little name title that we've got, so you can see me on the live. So yeah, bunny tails. Oh, that's really cool. But yeah, so this is my name. So that's going to be going on there. So when I ordered this, it's from Love Designs by Laura. I'll put it, I'll link it all down below so that you guys know. But she's again on Etsy, and it's like laser designs that she does. So they're acrylic and it's matte pink, as you can see, and it's stuck onto the mirror gold. Love it. It was about £10, I think. And I got Amy instead of a number because then I can use it every year, because every year I always have a pink cake. So I thought I might as well keep it pink and gold. So that's all the dried flowers that we have. I'm going to wash my hands, and then we're going to get the chocolate cake out. We're covering all of the cakes in white, what do you call it? White vanilla. And then they've got their own flavours inside and for the crumb coat, but obviously chocolate is brown, so we can't use that for the outside. So the chocolate orange is only on the in-between layers and on the outside of the crumb coat. So yeah, wash my hands and then I'll grab the cake and then I'll be back. So it is a nice tall cake, which we love. I need to, the board is like a temporary board. You know, when you're doing tooted, you don't actually use the board that you're going to use, so that's why we've got this one. So I'm gonna scrape off the excess. I need a tea towel or something. So I'm just gonna scrape that off so that when we go around with the scraper, it doesn't pull it, because we do not want brown. And then what I'll have to do is I'll have to put it on the other cake before I actually do the drip. I haven't decided whether I'm certain on the drip, but yeah, I think at the moment it's going to be a drip, but if it looks nicer without, then I might go no drip. So we will see, but we all know that I love a drip cake, so we don't know. But how did your frozen cakes go? As far as I'm aware, they're fine. This is the frozen cake. I defrosted them in the fridge. They were still a tad cold, not frozen, but like tad cold. So I frosted it all while they were still cold, and then fingers crossed tomorrow it will taste fine. Yeah, so I didn't have time to bake any more cakes, so I was like, I'm using these frozen layers whether they like it or not. Girl, I'm rushing home from the shops to watch this stuck in traffic. That's hilarious. Right, what are we doing? What are we doing? Someone help me, because I'm a bit disorientated today. Right, I'm sure they'll taste perfect, fingers crossed. But yeah, they were defrosted. They were just very cold because obviously they had been frozen. So, but most of the time people say to leave them at room temperature to defrost, or put them in the fridge for a day, and it hasn't been a day. It had been like 12 hours, but by the time it reaches tomorrow, it would have been a day. So hopefully they will be fine by then. I'm just whitening up this buttercream a little bit by adding my Wilton white. So I made a drip 2 days ago. I love them. They just add extra decoration to the cake. They're really easy. I think you should go for it, but it's your decision. I do love drip cakes. It's just whether it's going to work with the base tier. So that's why I need to put them on top of each other and then figure out whether it looks too much with a drip or whether I like it without. So we're just going to wing it, basically. Right, that is pretty white. So we're going to go for that. I'm going to put it in a piping bag because we all know that I like to pipe my buttercream onto the cakes. So fill it up. I'm getting stuff all over me and we're about 5 seconds in. Not cake related, but where's your top from, please? It's beautiful. It's from New Look and it's actually, I got it in the sale, but it's actually about 3 sizes too big for me. So luckily it has this like cinched bit, and the sleeves keep falling down. But I think I might try and like sew it to make it a bit tighter, but I loved it so much. And I have the dress version, which you may see tomorrow if I decide to wear that dress, but yeah, I have the dress version and it's really, really cute. So go to New Look and try and find it, it's so nice. Right, buttercream. So, scissors. My like teeny tiny scissors. There we go. Right, scraper. Right. We're gonna smooth the top. Right, there we go. Top tier is done, sorry. I'm gonna go drip, I've decided. So I've gone for a little bit of a messy top. This needs to go back in the fridge because it hasn't actually been stacked very long. I only stacked it about 3 hours ago, so it's a little bit wobbly. But yeah, we're all smoothed. So, comments. Do you possibly have any tips for starting a cake business? Because I've been thinking about it for a while. I'd recommend going and watching my old videos. The ones, if you go into my playlist and go to like the top viewed, there's ones about starting a business, there's ones about hygiene ratings, all that kind of stuff, pricing, everything like that. So that's probably the best like info that I can give you. What's the best consistency for piping buttercream? Do you need different consistencies for different applications? Definitely. So if you're doing a smooth coat, you don't want it to be too airy because then you're going to get lots of bubbles and you're going to have to keep going over and over it. So I mix my butter for like 10 to 15 minutes so it's white, but then I do not mix the actual icing sugar for very long. Once that's combined and it's like together, I do not carry on mixing it. I turn it off straight away, just because then you get loads of the air bubbles in. I have it a lot softer for different things. So like piping the outside of cake, I have it stiff for when I'm doing my layers, when you're stacking, doing the crumb coat, because then that's going to keep it nice and stiff, and like when you do the outside coat. But then when I do my actual final coat, what you just saw, that second coat that you do, I have it really nice and soft, because then it means you get a really nice smooth coat. As you saw it, I don't know what time it was, but usually it takes me like 5 to 10 minutes to do a final coat, because it's so soft. So you just smooth it and then it's done. So it's usually very quick, but as you can see, it's very soft. But because it's the outside coat, it doesn't matter because it's not the structure. And then it does eventually go hard if you leave it in the fridge. I leave mine in there overnight, so it's perfectly fine. They go hard straight away, so it's cool. Whereas if you're doing things on the day, then you'd probably want a stiffer buttercream, because by the time it actually leaves you, it's still going to be a bit soft, whereas mine have so much fridge time that I don't have to worry. Let me just get this bowl. So yeah, I would say you definitely need different consistencies for different things, but just get it to the point where you're happy with it. There's no wrong or right way, so it's not like you have to have exactly 500 grams in it. You can have as much icing sugar as you want. So if you want it softer, just put less in, and then if you want it more stiff, then just put more icing sugar in it. So, and also I don't put any milk or water in mine. So as you saw, that is like that. Oh, the dogs are barking. It's like that, and I haven't put any water or anything in it. So yeah, it's pretty good. But that is my icing. I'm gonna close this door. Right. need to wash my hands. So I'm just getting another bowl for another colour. So we're going to have 3 colours. I need a white, which I don't think no, we need 4 colours, sorry. So the white I don't need much of, I don't think. No, the colours I don't need much of. The white I need more of to kind of like separate the colours. So I'm going to go for that, I think. And then I think we're going to do like 2 scoops maybe. I need more bowls. So, got another bowl. Gonna have a bit more than 2 scoops, I think. So, then we have another bowl. So we're doing like 2.5 kind of like spatula. I think you're just answering my questions as you go along. That's quite funny. I'm not intentionally, but yes, I probably am. Let me just distribute this and then I can concentrate because I am terrible with concentrating. So I can't do multiple things. Right. There we go. We have our 3 pots. I have a lot more of that colour, so I think I need to... There we go. I think we're good. Right. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you know about Jane's Patisserie's new cookbook? I do not. I don't really use Jane's Patisserie. Whenever I've done her recipes, they've always gone wrong, so I just never use them. I don't know if it's my luck or something, but I have tried quite a few of her recipes. The only one that I liked is banana bread, and I make that for my family because we really like banana bread. But apart from that, I can't seem to get them right. I don't know what's wrong with me. Colours. So, I purposely baked some cupcakes today so I can decorate with you. That's so sweet. Well, I'm glad that you're here. Right, what are we doing? So, we're going to start with soft caramel, and I'm going to mix a little bit of that with some yellow. So we're using lemon and soft caramel. I think this might be a new one. Yes, it is. So we need to cut it. So yeah, soft caramel and then lemon colour splash. Just to give it a bit more of a yellowy tone without it being hopefully too strong. More of an orangey tone, I think, but it's not the end of the world. I think I'm going to add a bit more yellow. Do you only use Colour Splash colours? I do use Colour Mill and Pro Gel, but I just find that for most of the cakes that I do in terms of like colour scheme, Colour Splash is perfectly fine. I use Colour Splash for buttercream and Colour Mill for drips. Unless there's an allergen involved, so like if someone's allergic to nuts or I don't know, like say kosher, something like that, then I might use Colour Mill just because it's allergen friendly, but apart from that, most of the time it is Colour Splash just because they have a wide shade range, so they're pretty good. Right, we're going to go for baby pink, so we're using Pale Pink, and this is usually fine on its own. I shouldn't actually need to mix this with anything. It's usually pretty good. So we've got a yellowy colour and a pink, and then we're going to do a little bit of orange, so this is just called orange. And I don't want this to be too similar to the soft caramel colour, so I've added a little bit more. I need more spatulas, I haven't got enough spatulas. Right, we've got 2 more spatulas. They were wet because I did my washing up, so dry those off. Right, so we've got orange. We need a little bit more orange to that. I'm going to add a little bit more pink to the pink to make it a bit more vibrant, and the same for the yellow. Just because although I want them pastel-y, I do still want them to be kind of like rich with colour. I need a tea towel. Right, so we have orange. So, bear with, move that over there, making room for everything. There we go. Right, orange is mixed. Mix the yellow. Then we have yellow. It's kind of like a mustardy yellow. You can't really tell in this light because it looks different on the camera, but yeah, it's like a more mustardy yellow. And then we got our pink, and then we have just white. So I'm going to put these all into piping bags, and then we're going to start smoothing. So where's my glass? joining late, but can't wait to see how your cake turns out. Thank you. Hi, Verity. So we're just mixing all the colours for the base tier because it's going to be a bit of kind of like a tie-dye effect. So I'm just mixing all the colours for that and just putting them in piping bags. We've done the base layer on the top tier, which is for when we're doing a drip. So I've done the white base tier. So, yellow. There we go. That one for the white. It is so warm in here. Is the top tier going to be a dummy? No, so the top tier is actually real cake. So we've got two. We've got, what is it called? Chocolate orange for the top tier, and then we've got Victoria sponge for the base. I've covered the top tier in a final coat. It just needs all of the kind of like fancy stuff. It's literally just a white top coat, and then we're going to put smudges of buttercream colour on it, and various other things, a drip. So we'll be doing that a little later, but it needs to be quite solid for me to do the smudges of colour. So that's why I did it first, got it out the way. Right. Let me just check my battery. Perfect. So, I just had an inquiry about cake prices. I said prices start from 50 for a 6-inch, 60 for a 7-inch, 70 for an 8-inch, but that includes toppers and toppings. Took a deep breath and pressed send. That is very reasonable. So you're doing very well there. That's good. Now I'm sick with nerves. Most sure I'd be worse if I not sure if it'd be worse to get ghosted or never get, or actually get an order and have to make the bloody thing. Full of self-doubt. Honestly, you have to just take the plunge and price what you're worth, because like I always say to people, I would much rather do 2 cakes a week that are £70 cakes, or even more than that. I mean, say this week I've done 5 cakes. They're all around like £80, 70 to £80. And I would rather do that because if you think, if they were priced at like £35, which someone is more likely to pay, then I need to do double the amount to make that many cakes, which is going to take me a lot more time than it would for me to make 5 cakes. I can make 5 cakes for, say, like 400 quid, and that's like, I don't know, I can do that in 2 days. I could make 2 a day, fairly easy. Whereas obviously the lower your prices are, the more work you're going to be doing. So I would much rather work for more and then work less days. That's the kind of beauty of it. If you make your own pricing, you have the luxury of telling people how much money you want, and then you can work less if you want to, and if you want to work more and earn even more money, then you can. Any tips for starting a baking business? I know someone asked earlier in the chat, but I wasn't here yet. So when they asked, I just said it's probably best if you look through my old videos. So if you go to Baking Business, the playlist on my channel, there's videos about my hygiene rating, there's videos about pricing, starting a business, getting customers, social media, all of that kind of stuff. So I'd recommend you going and looking at those, because they'll be a lot more detailed than anything that I can say now, because it's all off the top of my head, so I couldn't guarantee that it would actually be anything useful. Verity, I did the same thing today. I got so excited it would be my first cake that isn't for family, but she didn't message me back. I said 65 for an 8-inch dinosaur topped cake. She ignored me. You never know. I've seen this in other chats, which is very plausible. Someone could be getting other prices. It happens a lot. So they might not be ghosting you. It depends when it's for, but I've had people where I send them a price and then they come back a week later and they have it. And it's because they've probably gone and shopped around, and I know the bakers in my area, and I know roughly their pricing, and most of them are similar, but some of the standard isn't similar to mine. So it could be that they're looking around at other bakers, and then they might say, well, I prefer your designs, like your standard or your skill, when you're decorating cakes, and then they might prefer that. So yeah, you never know, they might come back. I thought I was reasonable. I definitely think that's reasonable. Is there anyone in particular you watch to learn from that is really good, learning techniques, tools, trends? Honestly, I didn't really watch anyone. I watch for fun. There's the cake artist, I think. No, the icing artist. She's really big. She's American, on YouTube. But I just watch her for fun, because she does where she turns a shop bought cake into like a wedding cake, and she's really, really good, and she's quite funny. So I watch her just for fun. And I also watch what is it, George's Cakes, again for fun. I never really watched it when I was starting out. I only actually found them like a few months ago. Same with like Crumbs and Doilies. Yeah, I didn't really find anyone in the beginning, if I'm honest. I kind of just did trial and error, if I'm like being completely honest. Most things I just kind of like self-taught. I just like, if it was wrong, then I just did it again. But yeah, there's definitely plenty of people out there who you could learn techniques from, which is probably a lot easier than what I did. I need to wash my hands because they are covered in icing sugar again, and then we're going to get the top tier out. Also, look at this giant board. I couldn't find a smaller board, so it was either a board that was too small, it gave me like an inch to put decorations, or it was something that's like 4 inches too big, but I'm sure we're gonna fill the board anyway, so it'll be fine. Also, I know people mentioned following yesterday. I've followed a couple of people back, just because I saw that they had followed me, but I need to go through the chat from yesterday. I just haven't had time, but I will do that later tonight, go through the chat and have a little look through and follow people's Instagrams back. So I'll do that from yesterday's, so yeah, because I haven't had time yet. So I also need to post a couple of photos of cakes, because I think I've got 2 cakes which have gone out, which I haven't actually posted on Instagram, and those were the ones that I didn't do a live for, so you wouldn't have seen them yet. So for this, before we get into it, we are using the Finch Bakery scallop scraper for this. So it's going to be blotches of colour in big blotches. Rather than my usual little dots, I'm going to do bigger sections of colour. And then we're using the scallop to create a scallop effect. And then it's going to have gold leaf, paint splatter. So yes, it will be lovely. Oh, I love that everyone's always so happy. I said this yesterday, but everyone's always so like chatty in the comments. I love it. I'm just doing this randomly. There's literally no method to it. Just do it until you get the effect that you want. Have you or anyone in the chat had any customers that were unhappy with the cake? If so, what did you do? I haven't, so I will let other people answer, and then if no one else has anything to say, then I'll like give some advice on it. Decadent desserts, I love that. He's glad you're watching me instead of frenemies. That's so funny. Frenemies isn't on anymore though, is it? So were you watching old episodes? Because they're over now, aren't they? The big drama of frenemies being over. So that's all covered. Yeah, old episodes and watching families, not the same. I know, yeah, it definitely is different. I prefer just watching the After Dark episodes and like the normal like podcast, rather than watching like the families episodes. I don't usually watch them now. Right, we're going to, fingers crossed, unveil a very pretty cake, fingers crossed. I don't know if I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna go straight in with the scalloped edge. I don't usually, but I want to make sure that it looks all right. I think this is probably the easiest way to do it. I need okay, it's giving the effect that I want, so that's good. I'm gonna oops. Okay. I've just had people not reply when I asked, hope the party went well, and did people enjoy the cake? I feel like they would reply if they didn't enjoy it, because like usually you don't hear about the good things, you hear about the bad. So I would hope that they would get back to you, but hopefully that just like, no news is good news, so hopefully that just means that they didn't get a chance to reply. What's your star sign? You can't be a Leo, surely. I am a Leo. I am a Leo. What's wrong with Leos? I love being a Leo because I'm like everything that a Leo is, so it makes a lot of sense to me. I actually feel like I resonate with the star sign quite a lot. I loved it when I went to America because I went to LA and they're very big on star signs, so everyone was asking me what my star sign was all the time. You go into a coffee shop and they're like, what's your star sign? Yeah, they love it. need a teeny bit. We're just trying to clean up the edges now. Keeps getting clogged up, which is really annoying me. That's going to be the front. So we're going to smooth the top edge, I think, or I might leave it rough. Don't know. Should I smooth this top edge? I can't decide. I need a pen just to mark where the front is. Because it's like in between one of the scallops, that's why I'm tempted to leave it. Mum said smooth it. Leo too, me too. Just most Leos I know are very disorganized and you really have it together. Honestly, I do not have it together. I act like I have it together and it takes me a lot to be organized. I have about 50 lists in this house. Like I have a list on my phone. I have 2 paper ones. I've got literally one in front of me. I have a list here. And then I also have a whiteboard that has a list of things to do. I have to have a list for everything in my life, otherwise I don't get anything done. That's the only reason. I have to be able to tick it off. Yeah, it runs my life, honestly. But yeah, I'm not as organised as I seem. It takes a lot for me to be organised. Oh, we've got contrasting views. Someone says, my mum says smooth it, but then someone else says Decadent Dessert says to leave it rough. The only thing that I'm thinking is the top isn't going to be rough because the top has a drip on it, it's going to be very like put together. So I think I might have to smooth it because the top is going to be kind of like tidy. Also a big back to the Leos, because I love star sign talk, love it. So back to Leos, they're very outgoing, which I pretty much am. I like to get involved in everything. They are bossy, which I am, and they're very generous, which I am. I always like try to put people first rather than myself, and they're like perceived as confident when they're not necessarily confident. So I also get that a lot. Everyone always says I'm confident, but I definitely am not. So yeah. But yeah, I think that I'm very Leo-like. I'm just about to start decorating an 8-incher. I'm planning to put buttercream and crushed Maltesers between each layer, as he's a Malteser lover. Not tried it before, but should be okay, I hope. I think that'll be fine. I've used like crushed Biscoff biscuits before, crushed Oreos, and they usually work fine. So yeah, I think that should be fine. That sounds really good. Have you got the Malteser spread? You should put Malteser spread in it. That would be really good. I love a bit of Malteser spread. This one, love it. I use it in all my like chocolate slabs, but it's really good. Right, we're smoothing it, it's happening. Julie Page, my mother, has spoken, so we're going with her vote. And then we're going to put gold leaf on it and also splatter, because why not? Right, we have smoothed the edge. Where's the front? I'm just gonna scrape the excess off the board. So, this is the front. That's the front. Right, that needs to go back in the fridge before we do anything else to it. Right, so that section is done. Go big or go home, definitely. Can't wait to eat it tomorrow. Me too, I'm very excited. So what do we need? Hi sweet Mama Jules, that's hilarious. Everyone loves the old Jules craft room. If there's anyone that's into crafts, go and follow my mum, because she's trying to grow her YouTube channel, and she's into crafting, so am I. But yeah, she does lots of sewing videos, crochet, patchwork, all that kind of thing. So yeah, go and subscribe, because even if you don't watch her, subscribing helps out. That's the way that you got to think of it. And if you haven't subscribed to me, then make sure you do that as well, because that's what I'm going to do. So I was discussing it with my mum, and you know the Facebook group, I'm going to make it tonight, and then I'll put it in the link of this live, and there's going to be questions that you have to answer to get into the group. It's like an approval thing that you can do on Facebook, and one of the questions is going to be, are you subscribed to my YouTube channel? And if you're not, then you have to go and subscribe. That's like one of the requirements to get in. So I'm bribing all of you to do it. My Instagram is Diet Starts Monday. I followed you, Verity. I know that I followed you. I was trying to remember, because I know obviously people have their name and then they have their baking account. So I was trying to match up people's names to their baking account. So I'll have to go through the live and check people's usernames, because I was trying to do it just off memory, and I was like, I remember Verity, so I know that she was in it, but yeah, I was trying to remember, but obviously people have different names to their business names, so yeah. Right, both cakes are in the fridge. We can't do the drip on the other one until we've put it on the base tier. So I think I'm going to leave it in there a little bit longer, and then we're going to do some of the smudges. So I think I might just smudge ombre, because we've got loads of ombre left that I've just scraped off the cake. So what I'm going to do is not mix it, so it won't be into a colour. It will just be lots of colours kind of like roughly blended together, and then I'll smudge that on there. So yeah, I think we're going to go for that. I was ASMR ES, don't ask about the name. I remember that, because I remember your like image, so that's how I knew that it was you. But I think I follow Decadent Desserts, but I'll double check. My boyfriend changed it without me knowing. That's so funny. Right, what are we doing? I need to make some cake pops, so I think I'm going to do that now whilst things are in the fridge. We're not actually putting cake in them because it's so much easier to just do chocolate pops, so we're going to do that. So, I have my moulds. If you want to go and get them, you can shop on sweetthingsbyamy.co.uk. Little cheeky plug there. But yeah, this is the number mould, so we're going to be doing 22. It's actually upside down. There you go. So we'll be doing 22. So I just realised I'm going to have to do it twice because I need the same number. Then we have some heart ones. So we're going to be doing some white chocolate. So we'll use these. Just chocolate chips because they melt easy. And then we have colour mill. So we've got nude, and then we have baby pink. The bottles leak like crazy, so that's why it's just covered. Also, I don't know who it was. I think it was Decadent Desserts. But yesterday someone was talking about me wearing jeans and like not being comfortable. So as much as I tried to dress up for the live, because I thought I'll dress up nice rather than wearing joggers, I do have my slippers on, as you can see. So I am comfy for anyone that's curious. But yeah, right. So we have our two colouring. I need my twister mould as well. So another one that's on the website, a twister mould. So we're going to melt our chocolate. So you're going to come with me, and we're going to melt this chocolate. So as usual, if anyone has any questions, now is the time to ask them because you have my full attention. I'm really hungry, so I might have a packet of crisps while we're doing this, because that's the thing, like, because I'm doing my own cake, I can do what I want because it's my own cake, so it doesn't matter. Whereas obviously when it's other people's, I can't eat, I have tea, but I can't eat anything, because I'm pretty sure when I first started there was a rule about that, so I never eat when I'm baking. We got 100 grams there. Shall I do more? I think I should probably do more. We're going to do like 150. I'm not measuring it, I'm just eyeballing it as usual. Where's the chat? I need advice on my work again. Did I do that before? I think I've had a couple of people ask, please ignore the mess. Yeah, did I give advice on on a cake? I can't remember. But yeah, that's fine. Feel free to ask away. If you don't use all the chocolate you melt and colour, can you store it and reuse it? You can. I never do. I'm really bad. I usually melt too little because I'd rather make too little than too much. But I usually, if it's like, most of my cakes are kind of like improvised. So if I find I've got too much chocolate then and they have cake pops, then I'll be like, right, I'm going to drizzle some chocolate on there, on the cake pops, to use up the chocolate. Or if they're for me, then I just make extra cake pops and then, or like chocolate pops, because that uses up a lot of chocolate. And then I just refrigerate them. And then as long as they're stored in a little container, then they're fine. They don't get condensated. And then you can eat them at a later date, or you can use them on another cake, because it's all based on, as long as they don't have any cake in, then it's just chocolate. So it's based on the date that's on the packet. So as long as the packet is in, or if it's tempered, then you can also keep it out the fridge. But because mine go on cakes, they're typically in the fridge anyway, because they're on a cake. So yeah, I end up just leaving them in there anyway. But I'm going to boil the kettle because I'm going to make a tea while we're here. But yeah, what else? Right. Really want to start baking. Move away from the kettle. She really wants to start baking the same thing as me, even though she does dietary food like gluten-free and vegan, etc. And that's your boss. Is this the person that you wanted to leave? Because that sounds very risky. Yeah, I'm pretty sure when we last discussed it on the live, it was that you wanted to leave and she kept telling you that she'd have to shut down. So I would say that if she's now starting to bake the same things as you, then that is her trying to obviously steal your customers. There is enough room to go around, but if you work for the same person, then it's kind of difficult, because if she starts selling those sorts of things and you're working for her, then your work kind of becomes her work in a sense. So I would say that that's a bit difficult. She's probably moving into that because she's seen that you're doing it, for one, so she knows you can do it and you're working for her. So she knows you've got the skills to do it. And also because she's probably seen that it's more popular, because although there are plenty of people that do allergen only cakes, I get a lot of orders for allergen friendly. As long as they're not severe allergies, I do them. But I do always say to people, obviously it's made in a kitchen that does handle these ingredients. So as long as you're happy with that, then that's fine. 9 times out of 10, it's a very mild allergy. And it's only if they have like a literal nut in their product that they would have a reaction. So traces is fine. But I'm always very careful anyway. But the fact that they come to me when I know quite a few allergen only bakers in my area, that shows that obviously they want the design over the baker. So she might be finding, your boss might be finding that people are going elsewhere for their allergen cakes, because they can ask anyone. They can ask a normal baker if they'll do an allergen friendly cake. So they don't necessarily need to be labelled as like an allergen friendly baker. So yeah, she might be realising that you kind of like restrict your options if you do allergen only, because then people that aren't allergen, they don't need it to be allergen friendly, aren't going to come to you. So it does definitely limit your customers. So yeah, I would say keep an eye on that. Make sure that she isn't sort of using your skills and then it will hinder your business in any way. Because yeah, I know from when I got offered that job at that cafe where they wanted me to bake, as soon as they started asking me for my recipes, I was like, no. And that's when I just sent them a message and said, unfortunately, I don't think this is going to work. And that was it. Because as soon as they started saying they wanted my recipes, I was like, I'm an established business. I'm not like a couple of months or weeks old. I've been doing this for like 18 months now. So for you to want my recipes, it's like we're both based in the same area. So yeah, it's a bit difficult, but yeah, just make sure they're not gonna take advantage of you in any way. I asked yesterday about freezing cake layers. How did it turn out? Sorry, I missed the start of the cake decorating. Yeah, I mentioned earlier, so sorry if anyone's like rehearing, but it looks fine, so we're gonna go with it. Hopefully it tastes fine tomorrow. It will look nice anyway, even if it doesn't taste very nice. But I'm pretty sure that it worked out well. I put them in the fridge and then they defrosted in the fridge. They were a little bit cold when I actually iced it, but they weren't hard. They were still like soft, like you could press them like a normal sponge, but they were just cold, which I think was just them finishing off defrosting. So that should be fine. So hopefully they're fine. They usually take, as far as I can see, a day to defrost in the fridge, and I had only left them in there 12 hours. So it means that by tomorrow it will be fully defrosted, even though it's iced. So I think it should be fine. We'll see, but I'm hoping for the best. So that is that. That's on freezing cakes. I'm just pouring out my tea. I'm hoping to be done by like 10:30 latest, because this is currently a very long live. Yeah, exactly. She wants to do the exact thing like loaded brownies I do. Yeah, it sounds like she's looked at your page and she's gone, she does that, that's popular, let's do it. So yeah, be very careful that she doesn't just nick all your stuff, because even if she doesn't take your recipes, your decorating skill is obviously being used to make your own stuff. So that's what I realised when that cafe was asking me. I was like, even if they didn't want my recipes, I've seen the way that they decorate cakes, and as much as it's fine for their customers, it's not up to my standard. So I was thinking they're going to go from decorating like that to my decorating, and customers are going to be like, wow, like, not to sound big-headed, but they're going to see a difference. So it then means that I can't really leave because they've upped their game, and their decorating style is going to be different, and also they're going to need to be trained on that, because then if I'm not there, then they need to be able to recreate it the same. So yeah, it just gets a bit difficult. So that's why I just said no in the end. Cleo is barking again, so I might have to go out and get her, because I don't want her barking. Right, put my tea over here. So we need to go get the chocolate. You might have to block her from looking at your page. That sounds like a good idea. I've definitely done that before, for other people, but spoon. Right, back in the microwave, and I need to go and get my dog because she is going to annoy most of the street because she's barking. So BRB. She came in. She must have, her ears must have been burning because she's just come in. So I will give you a little show because she's in here, because it's just my cake. So she's allowed. I don't mind having her hair in my cake. I'm joking, by the way. Her hair won't be in my cake, but here she is, my little doggo. Stop licking my hands. I know they're dirty. I just received a voicemail from somebody who collected a cake from me this morning, my first proper paying client, and she said the cake was amazing. Can't stop smiling. That's really good. Who was it that said they hadn't heard back? It wasn't you, was it? Because if it wasn't, then that's also fine. But yeah, yeah, that's really good. That's great. So that's really good. I'm happy for you. We all love a bit of good feedback. Cleo's enjoying a belly rub. Right, I'm going to put her in her bed and then hopefully she won't go out and bark. I'm going to shut the gate so that she can't go out and bark, and then she'll just sleep in her bed in the kitchen, so she'll be a lot better behaved basically. Right, shut the gate. There we go. Right, wash our hands, and then hopefully this chocolate is melted, because we need it melted for our cake pops. Right, let's check on the chocolate. I haven't had dinner. I keep doing that. I keep just not eating. I do not have an appetite at the moment. I don't know why. I had lunch at like 3 p.m. So yes, I need to cook something, I think, or have a packet of crisps, like I said, because if I finish this at like 10, half 10, I'm just going to end up not having had anything, so need to do that. Right, it needs another spin and then it'll be done. Right. Oh, everyone's so positive. We love it. Yes, well done, Verity. I'm so annoyed. I promised myself I would try make cookie pies this week, but I've been so ill I couldn't. People keep saying I'm slacking, but I can't get up from bed too poorly. Who's saying that you're slacking? Because if you're ill, then you're not slacking. So don't take any notice if I don't know who it is that's telling you you're slacking, but if you're ill, then you need to rest. So I think that's perfectly fine. I'm terrible for always promising people stuff and then not delivering. So I told people that I was going to do postal cookies. I did a couple of recipes and I didn't like them. They tasted fine, but they just weren't what I was going for. I was going for like thick stuffed cookies, and the thick ones were just really chalky. So I was like, right, I give up. And I promised people that, and no one's mentioned it until me mentioning it now. So hopefully you'll forgive me for not sorting that out, because I was like, I give up, I'm not making cookies. I'm gonna just stick to cakes, because cakes and brownies, they're my favourite. Spoon. Oh, what is that? A little bit of fluff. Right, our chocolate is all melted. Right, there we go. So, back over here we go. There you go. Your boyfriend keeps saying that you're slacking. That's a bit mean. He's very much get up and go. He's really into fitness. And when he's ill, he drinks a bottle of water and goes. But I get so ill. He gives me his illnesses to me. It sounds like he hasn't been as ill as you, because I feel like if you're ill, then you're ill. So if you're ill and you want to stay in bed, then that's perfectly fine, I think. But yeah, I'm sure, I mean, to be fair, there's times where I don't feel great and then I just get up, but that's because I have work to do, so unfortunately I can't cancel. But yeah, if you're ill, just stay in bed and relax, I think. Right, we're pouring out these cake pops. I'm just going to do white ones I'm not going to do colour just because I think there's a lot of colour on the cake already, so I don't want to make it too much. Right, and then we need a 2. I'm going to shove that one in the freezer because I need 2 2s for 22. So I need to take this out the mould and then put another one in. So and then we're going to put the heart in the freezer. Oh, I just poured my tea all over the floor. And then I'm gonna put, we've also got a twister one. So I've also got a twister one, so that's gonna go in there as well. So I need to clean up this tea. Right, so we're gonna do the smudges on the top tier because we can do that, and then I can't do the drip until we've actually stacked it. And we also need to do gold leaf on the top tier. We've only got one lot of gold leaf left, which is heartbreaking. So I have to use it very sparingly. I mean, it's not even gonna do. I use so much gold leaf when I do cakes that I needed to order some more, but I used the last of it last night and I did not get onto Amazon quick enough, so I love your top, thank you. It's from New Look. So for the splatter we're going to do pink and gold, and the gold I don't have gold paint, so what I did, because I forgot to buy it but I remembered to buy white like gel pen or whatever it is, like food paint pen. So what you can do is add food colouring to your white paint, and I did that for black, I did it for gold the other day, and I did it for brown. So it's definitely a tip, get a white pearlescent pen. So where is it? That would be helpful. So this is what it looks like, and you can colour it whatever colour you want, so it's great, especially for when you forget to buy. We need an egg cup. So we have 2 food brushes. I think I got these from The Range or Hobbycraft. They're like food paint brushes. You can get any, I think, but these don't molt, so they're obviously better for food. And then we're using just an egg cup, and then we're going to pour. So with this pen, you have to just twist it. So I don't know if you can see, but you just twist it and then it just drips. It's hard to do with one hand, but oh my god, it's run out already. It's run out already. I used that much of it. Basically, I did a leopard print cake, which isn't up yet because the person's birthday was, their party was today, so I think I'm allowed to post it tomorrow, hopefully. But yeah, so I did a leopard print cake, and that used literally all of that paint. Yeah, it used so much. I'm going to add a little bit of silver to hopefully lighten it, because obviously we've run out. Oh, that worked perfectly. Okay, so we're going to add a bit more silver now that we know it works. It's because I don't use silver as much, I use gold a lot, so I've got loads of the silver, but not, oh, a bit too much, not as much of the gold. A bit more of the soft caramel colouring. So this is just normal colouring, and then you just mix it together. Right, we've got like a champagne gold. So we're going to get the big cake out, and then we're going to splatter on it. And you look, I literally just dip, take off like if there's too much excess, get it like on the brush, and then I just use my finger and splatter it like that. Oh, I need to pan you down before I start doing anything. Unfortunately I have to go as it's 4 AM here and I have an early start tomorrow. I'll definitely be finishing watching tomorrow. A big happy birthday to you, sweet Amy. Talk next time, lovely ladies. Thank you so much. I can't believe you're up at 4 AM. Yes, my birthday is on Wednesday, so I will be having a great early birthday, and then I'll be posting a video on my birthday probably, showing you like what I got up to, and also showing you what I got for my birthday. Right, so that is the gold done. Now we're going to do some pink. So this is the pink, so it's quite a deep pink. Right, we're going to go for that. And then I'm going to save the gold because I might use it on the top tier to tie it together. Just clean it all off my finger. What colour icing should I use for some cupcakes? What kind of theme are you going for? Because if you don't have a particular one, I'd say maybe go for pastels. Similar to this, maybe. I don't know what my dog is doing. She's whining. Just practice. Yeah, I would say maybe go for like pinks. I always like going for pinks. Either pinks and whites or maybe like nudes, if you have any nude colourings. You know, like nudes and golds is quite nice. I'm going to use this teeny bit of gold leaf that I have. How many cakes do you do roughly in a week? At the moment it's around like 5 or 6, and then I have postals and anything else that I do. But it can be as many as like 12 I've had, so it really just depends. So we've used that gold leaf, it just added a little bit extra. So we're going to move on to the other tier now. So as you can see, it's all like splattered on there. On the top. Did your environmental health mind you having a dog? I'm currently waiting for mine. I'm wondering if they'll be mind you having pets around. Cake looks amazing. So I don't usually have dogs in here when I'm decorating, especially when I'm baking. Obviously when it's in the oven they can't get to it, so I'm not strict on that sense, because if it's in the oven they can't get to it. But when I'm decorating, it's like you wouldn't necessarily want them under your feet, even if they can't actually get to the cake. It's more that they could just be in the way. But yeah, I usually try and lock them out as much as possible, unless people let them in, because it is like that door where there's a dog door is the only way out. So yeah, they need to go out to the toilet But yeah, so typically they're mostly out. Like Cleo's asleep on the sofa over there. Obviously I'm doing my own cake, so I don't mind her being in, but she's not anywhere near the cake. So it just, I think most of it depends on your dog. If you have a big dog, then obviously it could stand up and reach the counter, because anything like a Labrador could easily get its paws on the counter, whereas my dogs are so small that they couldn't reach the top of the counter, so they can't actually get to the cake, and nothing's ever left on the table, so they can never get to it. And they're also all non-molting, so I don't have any issues with getting hair in the food. But again, that is like, you have to assess your dog. If your dog is like a Jack Russell that molts really bad, then I probably wouldn't recommend having it in the kitchen at all. Even if you're like tidying up, you just wouldn't want hair anywhere. So yeah, it just really depends. They didn't mind at all. No one even mentioned the fact that I have a dog, and it was quite clear that the dogs were in the other room when she walked in. They didn't bark, but I think she knew they were in there. And also there was a dog water bowl in the kitchen, which is like round the corner from me, and also there's a dog door, so they know there is pets, and she didn't mention it at all. I think as long as your kitchen's clean, then obviously they know that it's a very clean space. So I think because my kitchen was spotless, she was thinking, well, it's very clean, it's not like the dog is clearly hindering how clean it is. But yeah, like I say, some are different, some aren't. Some are really, really strict, so it's probably best to lock them out and kind of keep it that way. And then if they say that it doesn't matter, then that's fine. But 9 times out of 10, I think people usually lock them out of the kitchen, or at least try to as much as possible. Like I say, if they need to go out, then they need to go out. So yeah, I think as long as you make like a conscious effort to keep them out as much as possible. So I need to wash my hands again because we've got gold paint all over them, and then we'll do the next one. So, hands washed. I have a Bichon, so he's tiny and doesn't molt. That's literally Cleo. Cleo is a Shih Tzu crossed with a Bichon, so she doesn't molt. Makes me feel more at ease. Yeah, that's the thing. I think it depends on your dog. Like if they walked into your house and they saw like a Doberman, they'd probably go, well, you need to make sure that that dog's kept out because it's big and like it molts, and it's gonna probably jump up to the counters. But if you've got a tiny little dog, 9 times out of 10, I can't see that they'd have any issue with it because it's not going to get anywhere near to the cake. And I know that there's quite a few bakeries that are like shops that are all dog friendly, and obviously they're walking around the shop near the counter and there's no issue with that. So I can't see that you occasionally, if you had to, like I say, try and avoid it. But if you had to have the dog in the kitchen and it was like roaming around, I can't see that there'd be any issue because there's plenty of bakery shops where you're allowed to take your dog in and they could walk up to the counter right near all the cakes and there's no issue with that. So yeah, I think as long as it's like a clean space and you're not touching the dog and then touching the cake. Like I say, I held Cleo, but then I go and wash my hands. So yeah, it's very difficult, but there's no like research on it at all, so it's a bit difficult. But yeah, I would say just try and avoid it as much as possible. Not sure if this is weird, but I'd love to go for a girly coffee with you and everyone else. That's not weird. I was thinking the same. I was saying to my mum, I really want to try and organise like a cake friends group. So when I start that Facebook chat, maybe we can do like a little meet up, because I want like cake friends, because it's people that you can talk to about cake that aren't going to get bored. Whereas like if I was talking to my mum about cake for hours, she would probably get bored. So yeah, I think that would be a good little idea. And maybe we can go to like a cake place, so then we can rate someone else's cakes, because I love doing that. I love going to like cafes and buying cake, because then I sit there and I'm like, this is a bit dry, or oh, I don't like the flavour. People probably hate that, but as a baker I feel like I naturally do that because I bake. So we can go and rate someone else's cake for the day. Right, I'm going to do these smudges on here. So, as you can see, we have all the leftovers from the scallop, but it's not mixed. So what I'm going to do is literally take a palette knife and smudge it. So I'm not going to mix it because I want it to be kind of like ombre-ish. So yes, we're going to try that, and fingers crossed it looks all right, because once it's done, it's done. I'd come and join you guys. Oh yes, please. I would love that. No one understands me and my cake mind. Honestly, my mind is always thinking about cake. Like, not even to eat it. I'm just thinking like, oh, I could do this. Oh, I could have that. And I have all these ideas. So yeah, it would be good to like chat to people about it. So yeah, we should do a little, that's way too much. So we're going to take that off. Need a little bit. Oh, my bowl is nearly falling over. That could have been detrimental. Count me in for cake talk. Where is everyone based? Because I'm just trying to figure this out. Like, if we're going to do a little meetup, we need to know where everyone is. Northampton, Buckinghamshire, that's good. Fareham, Hampshire, I don't know where that is. Leicestershire, I know where that is, that's a bit higher up. Gloucester is a bit higher up. You're in London, so that's near me. I'm in Buckinghamshire, so maybe we could do like a middle ground. I don't know where that would be, but we could do like a middle ground. So I'll have to try and figure it out, but yeah, we can definitely organise something. I'd travel for cake. That's funny. I feel like a lot of the big cake places are in London, but I'll have a little research, and maybe I can do a little poll on the Facebook group, and I can show like different places that we could go. We need a bit of pink. I don't really know what I'm doing with this at the moment. I'm just improvising. Do you have any tips for smoother buttercream? Yours looks so good. Ellen Cafe in London are amazing. Every time I go to London, I go to Ellen Cafe every single time, and I get about 3 different meals. Literally, I'll get avocado toast because it's the nicest thing. I'll get a acai bowl, which again is amazing, like a smoothie bowl, and then I get desserts, and then I get coffee. So every time I go there, I get loads, but I do love it. Right, I think I'm going to scrape this. I think that's what we're going to go for, so that we get like a light scraped effect. Okay, we're going to do that. Yeah, so smoother buttercream. I do it based on consistency. So if it's too stiff, then you've added too much icing sugar. And if it's not stiff enough, then you need to add more. So I just like play it by ear, basically. And then if it needs more icing sugar, then I just add it. I never put any water in, because the problem, everyone suggests hot water, and I've tried it a few times, but the problem that you have is once that hot water goes cold, the point is that your cake sets hard. So the point of putting hot water in your icing is so that it makes it soft while you're putting it on the cake, but then it goes hard as soon as it gets cold. But the problem is if you take slightly too long, then that's going to start going cold whilst you're icing it. And I've had it where it's gone all bitty and it's dragged across the cake. So you've got to be very quick if you're using the hot water method, because as soon as that hot water goes cold, then you're not going to be able to scrape the icing on the cake. And the milk method means that you can't leave the cake out of the fridge because it's got milk in it, whereas butter can be left out the fridge. So it restricts you in that sense. You have to make sure your customers are refrigerating it because the milk will go off. So I just do it based on butter and icing sugar. If it's too soft, add more. If it's too stiff, then just either whip it really quickly, or you can either whip it quickly, or you can add more butter if you needed to, which I've never done. I don't know if that would mess up the ratio, but yeah, I would say just add as much icing sugar as you need, basically. That looks quite cool. I'm gonna add a teeny bit more. And then we're going to do a white chocolate drip. And we're going to splatter. We're going to leave that because I'm going to use that on the top, all this icing. Nothing goes to waste here. That's why I like it when people allow me to improvise with their cakes, because it means that any wastage of icing, I can then use it to colour. So if someone says, I want a pink drip cake, then I can go, right, I've got leftover white or I've got leftover pink. So then I use it for like the board or the top of the cake, because I know that they're not asking for like exactly this design. So it makes it a bit easier in that sense if you have a bit of freedom. So yeah, it means that I can use the excess. So as you can see, it's a very subtle, see like the smudges on the sides? So it's like an orangey, yellow pink ombre on the actual smudges, and then we'll have a drip going over it. Where is the front? I think that's the front, either that or that. We're gonna go with this. So there we go, a little black mark, and we're gonna put our paint on it. So we're gonna take our gold and we're gonna splatter. Where's the front? There we go. Right, that is ready to be stacked. So we're gonna start doing the stacking bit on the other one. Love it, makes me want to bake a cake now, but mine won't look as good. Oh, give yourself credit, you never know. It might. Practice makes perfect. I just need to put the white chocolate in here for the number 2. How much butter do you use to make all your buttercream? Because I always use 1 block of salted butter and I never have enough. It always looks like a lot, but I never have enough for the swirls on top. So I use, for a 4-inch, I use 1 block for the crumb coat, and then I always use 2 for the outside because that gives me enough for the board and the top. For a 6-inch, I use 2 blocks for the crumb coat, 3 blocks for the outside, and for an 8-inch I use 2 blocks for the inside and 3 blocks for the outside because I usually have a little bit spare on the 6-inch, so you can usually add a bit more. You guys are going to get to see the stacking today, so that's very exciting. Trust me, I'm too impatient, I'll mess it up. I'm really impatient, but when it comes to cakes, that's the one thing that I'm patient with. Right, jumbo straws. So, there's my cloth, I need to wet this. So I'm just wiping these just in case, because they're in like a jar, I don't want them to have any like dust or anything. So I'm just giving them a quick wipe. Hi Ash. Do you add anything to the melted chocolate before filling the mould? Not unless I'm colouring it, which I'm not. So yeah, I just added it straight in there and then just shove it in the freezer for like 5 minutes. I'm leaving them in there for a little bit longer just because I don't need to take them out yet, and it will just make them more like solid, but yeah, they can have as little as 5 minutes. Right, base. So oh, I think I have. Have I received my parcel? Is that the wax melts? Because I was going to mention that in the live. I've got the box in my room. I think you're the right person. Yeah, I haven't. I've been like rushed off my feet with stuff to do this week. I've had a lot of weddings, but I'm definitely going to do some Instagram posts because they are amazing. And like I showed my whole family and they were like, oh my god. So yes, if that is you that sent me the wax melts, Ash, then I am very appreciative because they are amazing. But yeah, I will get them out when this is setting in the fridge. Honestly, you sent me so much. My mum was looking through and she was like, oh my god, and I was like, I know, like there was so much and they smell amazing. My sister was well impressed. But yeah, and my sister's birthday is next month, and I bought her a wax burner for Christmas because she broke her one and she loves wax melts, so I will definitely be using that discount code, and I'll put it down below as well because I've mentioned it. But yeah, I think it's Sweet Things by Amy, but I'll put it down below anyway just in case it's something different. But I will get that box while this is all in the fridge so that I can show you because they are amazing. So make sure that your jumbo straws are the same height as the cake. If they are slightly off and they are wonky, then it will cause your top tier to be wonky, so you've got to make sure. So what you do is you wiggle your stick around. I'll bring you a bit closer. You wiggle your stick around, and then it means that when you pull it up, there's a little bit of buttercream on there which shows you where to cut. So then you just cut your straw. There we go. Wiggle it around. Someone had a question. Is that a cocktail stick you added first? Yes. So it's actually a barbecue skewer. So it's a long one. So it's like a kebab skewer, basically. So yeah, I add that, and then that means that when it goes on the top one, it will be nice and sturdy because it's sharp. I wanted you to try as many scents as possible. Well, that's so sweet because there are so many. I will show you guys, but there's so many. I was so shocked. I was like, this is just a never-ending box of goodness. I love it. Where do you get your jumbo straws? Amazon. Just type in jumbo straws on Amazon and they come right up. I need a little cake board. So I need to cut this to size, but I need to put this in between the layers. I need to measure this. So you don't want the board to be seen. This was a 6-inch board, but I'm using it for a 4-inch cake because I don't have a 4-inch one. But yeah, you don't want it to be seen, so you can just cut them because it's just a little, it's a very thin cake board, so it's so easy to cut. And it can be rough, it doesn't have to be exact. And then you're going to make a hole in it, and then that's going to go through where the skewer is. These are not the best scissors for this job. Right, I'm going to double check that against the size of the cake. Just make some room. So, what you want to do is get something sharp. I'm just using a kebab skewer, but a metal one. And then stick it through the middle. That's not the middle, but it's fine. So, yeah, we can make it the middle. So what I need to do, and this is the scary part, is get another board, put it on top of your cake, then flip it over, then you need to take this one off, so we need a sharp knife. All the sharp knives were dirty, so I had to wash one. And then you're just going to run that along the edge. It will be covered, usually, when you do the top tier. And then you just want to pry it away. If any of your buttercream starts to crack, like mine, then just cut along that edge. There you go. Right. Now, usually you do this before, but I was silly and didn't do it. So yeah, then you put your board in there. So you need a little bit of buttercream. Shove that on there. Doesn't have to be anything special. Just rough. And then you're going to place it in the middle. Just realised I've lost my centre point now, so I'm going to have to try and figure out which is the front. Which is the front? Right. You're the front. So you then need to line up your skewer with the hole. And then manoeuvre your cake until it gets to the point that you want it at. Ta-da! So, right, this is where we're at. So, there's a little gap there, but I'm going to cover that with piping, so that's all good. I'm going to get a piping bag so I can do that now. So, You need your own cake school. Honestly, that is a dream. I really want to eventually do lessons like in person, but I really want to do it for kids because I think it would be quite nice. I think it's something that isn't really available. Definitely not in my area anyway. I would love to teach. I mean, I love teaching kids, but I always wanted to be a teacher basically, but I don't like school kids, if that makes any sense. Basically, they can be really mean, which is why it kind of put me off, because I did a few bits of work experience in a school and there were just some kids that were horrible. Whereas if they're coming to your class, they want to be there, so they're going to be nicer than kids that you just get in school. So yeah, I really want to do teaching in like a little cake school for kids. I'd love that, but I will do adult classes as well, definitely. But yeah, I would love to do that. I don't know why I'm feeling nervous watching you flip that cake. Honestly, my heart drops every time I flip a cake because I get so worried. There's been once where it was a wedding cake where it went a bit wobbly and I was like, oh. Second school kids can be a nightmare. Oh, I know, yeah. I mean, I was one not that long ago, so I know how horrible kids can be, and that's why I'm like, I would not work in a school. I couldn't handle it. My mum was a TA. Oh, I just dropped my buttercream. My mum was a TA, a teaching assistant, and I honestly don't know how she did it, because I was in her classes most of the time because she worked at my primary school, and kids were just horrible. Kids are horrible, but she put up with it, but I can't. Right, I've put the mixed up buttercream in there. I agree, I worked in a school kitchen for 6 years, never again. I hate horrible kids. Honestly, I am too sensitive. Like, they just scare me. I remember I went to look around a college that did cooking/baking. I told her I wanted to do cakes, etc. She laughed in my face and told me to go to Paris if I want to be a cake maker. That makes no sense, because in Paris they don't make fancy cakes, they make pastries. Paris is known for its pastries. So she doesn't even know what she's talking about. Completely put me off, so I never went to college after that. Honestly, I think there needs to be more, like, kind of like after school classes. And also, you wonder why kids get into trouble. Well, a lot of the time they don't have things to do. When I was a kid, I did every after school club under the sun, and I was never like a bad kid. I would not consider myself anyway. So I think it helped, because it's like something to fill your time so you don't get bored. But there's plenty of like people that would want to do baking, but they don't know it's available. Like, I did gymnastics, I did singing lessons, I did piano, I did what did I do, violin. I did literally every after school club that you could think of, and made my parents pay for it all, and then I didn't carry on to do any of it. But that's why you have kids, so that you can just spend loads of money on them. But yeah, obviously now I'm making the most of my artsy skills, but now I'm glad that I took art in school because I'm actually using it. But yeah, I think it's good to have classes for kids to have available. Did you watch the Child Bake Off? No, I'm definitely gonna have to look that up. That sounds like a great idea. I really want to have a look at that now. At the college classes to do with food, it's like training for work as a dinner lady or pub chef. Nothing wrong with these, but it was not something I wanted to do. Yeah, it's more, that's why they're doing it, because it's more traditional. They're not doing baking because it's not a traditional job. You can learn to be a chef, and that's very like common, and like being a home baker isn't considered common, is what I'm trying to say. So that's why they don't offer it. I find that colleges are quite like behind with the times, but hopefully in the future they will get better. There you go. So we piped little rosettes around there so no one knows that there's a little gap. That's how you do it. So I'm going to be doing some bits on the board. I think I want to do a covered board, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to do the drip because we're ready. So my trusty friends, white chocolate spread as usual. So yeah, I'm gonna go and what do we want? I'm just changing the quality of my thing. So that I can see what it's like in full quality. My nan took me to every open evening to find a cake course for me, bless her. Oh, that's really sweet. Well, it's a shame that no one offered it because I feel like it would have been a very good course. So, I bulk bought that chocolate spread last month as it was £1. Are they stopping it? They're not stopping it. It's just limited to certain stores. So I have to go across my town to get to somewhere that does it. But yeah, it's definitely still available. Right, I need to clear a space in the fridge. Let me bring you with me. So there we go. I bet they're like £5 on eBay. Yeah, they probably are. Right. I don't know how tall this cake is. My parents must hate me because I'm taking all the shelves out of the fridge. There's just no space for anything. Right, I don't know if this is enough space, so we're going to try and fit it in just to do a test run. Once it's got toppers on, it's not going to fit in there, but we'll have to move it around again. Hey, it fits! We did it. So, right, let's melt our chocolate. So that's good. Fits in the fridge. We love that. Actually, because I'm not putting the dried flowers on the top. I don't think. I'm not putting the dried flowers on the top. I don't think because it's going to make it way too tall and then it will be like crazy tall. Like the top tier will look really tall and I don't want that. I want it to look in proportion. So I think I'm going to put the dried flowers in between. Like some of the short ones can go on top, but then the big ones like the spear, I think I might put that in between, like on the second tier, like, you know, in between the two tiers, if that makes sense. So yeah, right, we're going to melt our chocolate spread. So weird and random, do you ever get scared you'll do something weird on a live, like pick your nose, or I'd be so paranoid I'd do something embarrassing? I don't know. I mean, I'm quite embarrassing anyway, if I'm completely honest. Like, when, like, me and my sisters are all together, we're, like, extra weird because we all know how weird we are, if that makes sense. Like, when you're around weird people. And, like, if there's music playing, I will, like really go for it with my dancing as if I'm in a club. And sometimes my family are like, all right, we're in the house, like we're just chilling and you're proper going for it. But yeah, I don't know, I just do what I want. And if people don't like it, then they don't like it. I mean, I'm not going to pick my nose, don't worry. I wouldn't dare do that whilst decorating a cake, because I feel like that would be bad advertising. Like, this is what I do whilst I'm decorating. But yeah, I just kind of like don't think about it, if I'm honest. Like, I mean, sometimes I do watch back the odd live and I make a funny face in it because I'm very expressional. So I like raise my eyebrows all the time. I'm like rolling my eyes. I make all these funny faces. So yeah, you probably noticed that already. But yeah, I just do what I want. And hopefully it's not weird, basically. What am I looking for? I'm really hungry now. I'm actually going to have to make something. It's 10 o'clock. I haven't had dinner. So I'm going to have to make something because I am starving. My stomach is really going for it at the moment. I can really feel it telling me that it's hungry. I'm just adding a bit of white chocolate from one tin to the other, from like a new tin, because it needs a little bit extra and I want to melt it all together. So let's put that in there. I just put the whole jar in there. That's why I add a bit more to it, because it needed a bit more. But I put the whole jar because it doesn't have foil on it, so you can. However, I think it's the normal chocolate spread, the milk chocolate one, it has foil on it, so you have to make sure you've got all of that foil off, otherwise it will like explode in the microwave, which no one wants. But yeah, so don't put any foil in your microwaves. What am I gonna have for dinner? I've got 20 seconds. Oh, that reminds me of that song. I don't think any of you want me to sing, but that 21 seconds to go. I can't remember what song, like who it's by, but if you know it, let me know so I don't feel old. But yeah, 21 seconds to go. Weird is good, being normal is boring. Exactly. And also sometimes it's not weird, like sometimes it isn't, you're not being weird, you're just being different. Like, you're not being monotone or like emotionless. So yeah, sometimes it's not weird. Sometimes it's just abnormal to the people that are like playing up to the cameras, sorts of thing, where not that there's actually cameras there, but like where they're playing up to make sure that people like them. And I am not one of those people. I just do what I want, and if you don't like it, then you can like go away. Oh, you know the song. That's good. I don't feel old now. But yeah, I don't have time to worry about what other people think. I used to, but I don't anymore, because So Solid crew. Yes, thank you guys. I knew it was someone that I knew. I think wasn't So Solid on one of the guys was on Love Island, I think. Yeah, I think one of them was on Love Island, because he kept on saying, oh, I was part of So Solid. I don't know if you know. And everyone was like, yeah, we know, like, you've told us. It's not like it was like Take That or someone, or like, you know, Backstreet Boys, someone really, really popular. Like, as much as I like that song, it wasn't something that was very, very popular. Right, what are we having for dinner? Because my chocolate's melting. Right, there's nothing in the fridge, so we're not having anything out of there. We are going... I had chicken wraps. That sounds lovely. I'm having no chicken burger. And then I'm going to put some fries in, because this will take 25 minutes, so I'll probably be done by that point anyway. And then I'm going to put some peas with it, because I'm trying to be a bit healthy, you know. Oh, that's really cold on my stomach. We're going to shove this in the oven whilst the chocolate is currently in the microwave. I need to take it out. It is 10:15 here. If anyone's watching anywhere else, let me know, because I'm always curious to know what time it is. What do I need? Tray? So, take some fries. This is going to be great before bed. I'm literally going to eat this and then get into bed and watch some TV. Tomorrow I'm having a lay-in for the first time in like 4 days. If you watched yesterday's live, was it yesterday's? Yeah. You will know that I was extremely tired. So yesterday I went to bed at 1:30 a.m. And I had got up at 4:30 yesterday in the morning, gone to a wedding, and then I got home, finished a cake, did some cupcakes for a wedding today, finished those at 1:30 a.m. and then I got up this morning at 8 because I had a collection from like 9 till 9:30, and I always get worried that I'm not going to wake up, so I always try and wake up like an hour early so that I've got plenty of time to make myself look presentable. So yeah, I did that collection, and then now I've been doing this 2-tier cake all day. So I'm just setting myself up for failure, guys. I'm very, very, very tired. Oh, that's the wrong way. There we go. Hello. It was just my head at the bottom there. Right, that can go in the bin. Right, our chocolate is all melted. I'm going to shove these fries back in the freezer. I'll pop you back over here. We're doing a little musical chairs today. And then my stuff will be done in 20 minutes. So that gives me 20 minutes to finish this cake. Or we'll have a brief intermission. Watching from Northern Ireland. I really like the Irish accent. Love it. I wish I had an Irish accent, so I'm jealous. I'm assuming you're from there, so you'll have the accent, not that you just are watching there. Look, I've got like buttercream all over my cup. Perks of being a baker. Right, chocolate. Right. We have our chocolate. And we're just gonna pour it. If I was to make this for a customer, so my 2-tier is separate pricing, like as in just price for the 2 cakes, and then add on any extras. So for this, it would be a 6-inch would be from 50, so the base would be from 50, And then a 4-inch drip cake is also from 50, because as soon as it's got a drip and those toppings on it, then it goes up. So it will be from 100. And then there's like the dried flowers, which are £12.50. The topper, which was £10. Then there's macaroons, there's lint. So it would probably be a rough estimate around 130, 140 pounds. So yeah, it would probably be around that. So we've done the drip. The top of it's a little wonky, but we'll be hiding that. So yeah, that's currently annoying me a little bit, but it'll be fine. So what do we want? We want sprinkles, that's what we need. Right, so drip's done. I have lots of sprinkles to choose from. So we have white mini balls, gold mini balls, pink mini stars, all from Sprinkler UK. It's not sponsored, but if someone wants to tell them to sponsor me, I might have to ask them, because I use their sprinkles in all of my lives, all of them, because I love them so much. Then we have the metallic gold rods. Then we have the matte rods. These are pink. This is a new pack, so we're going to be testing those out. And then we also have a new pack of matte chocolate balls, which we love. So these are a little dark for the colour scheme, so we're going to play it by ear as to whether we use those. I'm going to start with the gold little balls. And we're going to stick some right. Then we're going to put a few of the little pink ones on. These are the little stars. And then I'm going to put some of these white balls, I'm going to stick them to the side of the cake. So I'm making a page on Facebook, but I can also do a group chat. But the only thing I was thinking about a page is someone could post a photo of something and then people can reply in the comments, because I feel like if you have a chat with everyone in, then you're going to lose stuff. Whereas a page, it means if someone posts a photo, same as if you posted it in a group chat, you can all comment on that photo and it's not going to get lost. Whereas if you do it in a group, then that photo is going to be months away by the time you've started talking about something else, if that makes sense. So I feel like for a large group, a page is probably better. And then it means that people can still ask questions on it. So you just make a post, ask a question, then everyone can chat on it. If you want to share your bakes, you can do the same. But yeah, I feel like that's probably the easiest way for people to share stuff without it just getting lost. They're a little dark, so we're going to swap them. We're going to swap them for these ones, which are the metallic gold rods. So these aren't matte, they have a shine. Hi Ashley. We are just in the middle of decorating. So I'm going to pan you down a little bit so you can see the whole thing. So also, if anyone's wondering, I have done it closer to the back deliberately because I want to have more space around the front to put stuff on. So yeah. I just realised I marked the wrong place for the front. That's why I'm getting confused. That's the front. Yeah. It wasn't in the centre. Right. The exciting part. So, I might add it to the top actually. I think it's too big for the middle, so we're going to add it to the top. Love the cake, thank you. It's exciting, it's all coming together. Would you have a naked cake for your wedding or would you have an extravagant cake? Definitely extravagant. I'm thinking that for my wedding cake, I am going to have a coloured cake. So rather than white, it's going to be very colourful because I've seen a few like it and I really like them. So like, say my dresses were yellow, I would have something like this where it's got yellow on it. So I would match it to the bridesmaid dresses. I'm gonna move. I need to move some stuff because I've got no space. Just move all this around. We've got buttercream everywhere. I need to plug in my phone. Right. Honestly, if you could see this worktop, it is horrendous. Right. That was lucky. We had 4%, so that was lucky I plugged that in. I don't really like naked cakes. I think too many people have them now. Yeah, I personally wouldn't have a naked cake. I think it's too plain, but that's just because I like fancy stuff. But I definitely see the attraction. People want them to be like simple and rustic, I guess, but I wouldn't personally have one, but that doesn't mean I don't sort of like them. I think they are nice, but just not for me personally. Right, so we're adding the little wheat leaves. And I'm just cutting a few of the others down. Ow, I just Oh my god, I literally cut my finger. Is it cut? I don't know. It hasn't started bleeding yet. I want to add this because it doesn't molt. But it's very big. Can I cut that? Let's have a go. It's either going to get used or not used, so I'm going to try and cut it. I've cut that a little bit, so I'm gonna trim a little bit more off of it. I tag you in my story with the cupcakes I decorated while watching you. Ah, thank you. I will definitely go and have a look at them. Right, I've cut that down a little bit so that it's a little bit shorter. Love your cake, watching you from South Africa. Oh my god, that's amazing. Thank you for watching. Right, I think the peonies are going to be the wrong colour, so we're going to leave the peonies off. And we're going to go full force with all of these. So I'm going to cut these into singles. So you just cut the leaves off because it's going to be too big if I have it all in one thing anyway, because it's too tall. So I might be able to have one of them. I might move him round. How much would you charge for that cake? I know it's for your birthday, but still. It would be around the like 130 mark, roughly. It might even be slightly more than that. Yeah, if I'd have to like price it up based on time as well, because it definitely takes a bit longer than some of my others. So it'd probably be more. Right, I need to start adding some chocolate on it because we haven't got any chocolate on it yet. So don't know whether to do... I don't know whether to just go covered board with toppings on or keep it plain. What do we do? What do we do, guys? Because I usually would do a covered board and then it allows me to put some toppings on it. Or do I keep it simple? Please tell me now. Right, we've got one person for covered. I do love a covered board, if I'm honest. Right, any more votes for covered or not covered before we begin covering? Right, you got 5, 4. Oh, I just stuck my finger into it. I don't know if covered would take away from the cake though. That's what I was thinking. That's why we need to discuss, guys. Because I've got no idea. Or I do a light covered. Okay, we're getting a lot of covers. Okay, well, we're not gonna cover it with like ridiculous amounts of toppings. I say that, but it probably will end up. But I'm gonna try and keep the toppings like subtle and a lot of flowers. It's just gonna give some colour to the base. So hopefully it won't look too much because we're doing it. It's a very big board to cover. Don't normally have this much room, but the cake board was too big, so. Oh, my food's done, so I'm gonna go quickly. A mid cover. We're a bit too far for a mid cover, unfortunately. We're going full covered. Right, swapping nozzle to a different one. Oh, I cut the hole too big. I hate that. Such a waste of a piping bag, so I'll have to keep that aside. Yeah, to be fair, the toppings that I've got for the cake is literally lint and white chocolate buttons. So it's stuff that blends in with the colour scheme. So I did it so that it wouldn't be too busy. And then we just got some flowers to go on there. So yeah, nothing too crazy. worst person to try and get stuff in a piping bag. Always so messy. Right. Ow, I just got buttercream in my eye. I just flicked buttercream in my eye. That really hurt. Ow, that is hurting. Right, so as you can see, it's all covered, and we're just going to place a few toppings on there. Sprinkles. kind of want to lay it on the board. It looks kind of nice. It's pink sprinkles. Okay, I will add some pink. I'm going to add a few just little white chocolate buttons. Actually, I know what I'm gonna put my 22 there. I just realised I've got all these cake pops. This is what I'm gonna fill the gaps with. Now it makes sense. I didn't want to add like things like too many like chocolate buttons, things like that. But these cake pops are more elegant, so I feel like they'll go with it rather than more chocolate. So we've got little 22, which is going to go at the front. And then we've got a twister lolly, which again, like I said, these molds are all from my website. So this is a twister one. I left the freezer open. So I'm going to splatter a little bit of gold paint on this, which we already have mixed. I need to lay that down. And we're going to do the same to the cake heart as well. So we're going to put this cake pop at the base here. And then I think the cake heart I'm going to swap these. So we're going to put the gold at the front so that you can see it. That looks so much better. And then we're going to put the white lint at the back. Ooh, guys! Right, I'm going to add a teeny few more sprinkles and then we're done, because I don't want to go overboard saying that whilst I've literally gone overboard. But yeah, I'm just adding a few like finishing sprinkles. And then it needs to go back in the fridge because it is so warm in this kitchen and I can see the condensation on it. There is going to be an extensive amount of photos of this cake tomorrow. Me with it, as well as a TikTok, as well as many others. My mum is literally going to love this so much. Right, we're going to do a little bit of gold spray because why not? Right, so we're all done. We're all done. I'm going to turn you round on here to give you a better view. Give you a little once over before we go, because the camera on here will be better this way round. So, here we go. Look at the mess. Oh, don't look at it. So yeah, this is how it looks. I absolutely love it. It turned out exactly how I wanted it to. This is what I had envisioned, but now it's actually worked. I am like super pleased with it. So if you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up. I can see all 23 of you watching, but there are not 23 thumbs up. So make sure that you thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment your thoughts, and I will see you in my next live. So yeah, I'm very excited. Cannot wait to eat it tomorrow, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.